Welcome back, beautiful souls, to Tales of Love. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button because tonight's story is one you won't want to miss. A tale of passion, longing, and a rooftop encounter that will leave you breathless. The city stretched below me like a sea of twinkling stars, the hum of distant traffic and faint laughter weaving into a lullaby of urban life. I leaned against the cold metal railing of the rooftop, a glass of wine warming my hands, my thoughts wandering through the quiet solitude of the night. Nights like this always felt bittersweet, filled with both anticipation and a pinch of loneliness. The soft glow of streetlights bounced off the nearby buildings, painting golden streaks across the rooftop. I sipped my wine slowly, savoring its warmth as I imagined the stories each light held. Yet, for all the beauty around me, a flicker of something more, something magnetic, seemed missing from my own life. That's when I noticed him. A shadow stepped onto the roof from the stairwell, tall, confident, and undeniably magnetic. He paused for a moment, taking in the view, and I found my eyes drawn to him like a moth to flame. His hair caught the moonlight, and there was something in the way he held himself, calm yet undeniably aware of every movement, every glance, that made my pulse quicken. Beautiful night, isn't it? His voice was low, smooth, with a timbre that sent shivers down my spine. I smiled, slightly flustered, hiding my surprise. Yes, it really is. Perfect for a quiet escape. He glanced at me, a playful spark in his eyes. Seems like we both had the same idea. There was a pause, a delicious moment where time slowed. Our eyes met, holding each other in a silent, electric conversation. I felt heat rise in my chest, a mixture of curiosity and something far more primal. "I'm sorry," I stammered, almost laughing at my own awkwardness. "I didn't expect anyone else up here." "Don't apologize. I'm glad you're here." His smile was subtle, but it carried a promise I couldn't ignore. "I'm Alex." "I'm Emma." The name felt right on my tongue, carrying weight, familiarity, and the sense of an unspoken connection. We talked about the city below, sharing stories about our favorite hidden spots, our favorite late-night memories, laughter punctuating the quiet night. His hand brushed against mine accidentally, or maybe not, and the spark was immediate, undeniable. I felt my body responding in ways I hadn't anticipated, a warmth spreading from my chest down to my toes. The conversation grew bolder, flirtatious teasing slipping between laughs and smiles. "I bet you come up here often to escape," he said, his eyes glinting with mischief. "Maybe," I replied, my voice huskier than intended. "But tonight feels different." Different. He stepped closer, reducing the space between us just enough to make my heartbeat erratic. "How so?" I caught myself inhaling sharply as his gaze met mine. The city lights reflected in his eyes, making them glimmer with a mixture of mystery and desire. "I don't know," I whispered. "It's electric. Like something's about to happen." He tilted his head, a slow, knowing smile spreading across his lips. "Maybe it is." And in that instant, the first brush of our lips collided, soft, tentative, testing, and then, with growing urgency, deep and demanding. My hands found their way to his chest, feeling the warmth, the heartbeat that matched my own. Every worry, every loneliness seemed to melt away under the intensity of that kiss, leaving only the raw, undeniable pull between us. The night around us faded into a blur of stars and city lights, our bodies drawn together by an invisible force that neither of us could resist. He whispered my name, and it felt like a secret confession, like the night itself had conspired to bring us here. We leaned against the railing, hands exploring, teasing, lingering touches that made every nerve in my body alive with anticipation. Each caress, each soft sigh, pulled us closer, and the heat of the moment became impossible to ignore. "This feels incredible," I murmured, my lips brushing against his jaw, my fingers tangled in his hair. "It does," he breathed, voice low, filled with promise. "And it's just the beginning." As the city hummed below, we moved closer, bodies pressed together in a rhythm that felt both new and familiar. The rooftop, the night, the lights, it all became a private world for just the two of us. And just when I thought I couldn't feel more alive, he kissed me again, long, slow, and full of everything we hadn't yet said aloud. The connection wasn't just physical, it was emotional, intoxicating, and completely consuming. Time seemed suspended. The stars above, the city below, and the electricity between us created a night I knew I would never forget. Finally, we pulled back slightly, foreheads touching, breath mingling, eyes locked. A quiet laugh escaped us both, a mix of disbelief and joy. "I've never felt like this before," I whispered. "Neither have I," he replied. "But I think tonight we were meant to." The night ended with a gentle embrace, a lingering kiss, and the promise of more moments to come. The city lights flickered below, but up here on the rooftop, time had stopped, just for us. The air had grown warmer as the night deepened, the city lights casting a golden haze over everything. Alex's hand was still intertwined with mine, our fingers pressing together as if afraid to let go. I could feel the electricity between us in every subtle brush, every lingering touch. "Do you come here often to think?" he asked softly, his thumb tracing circles over my knuckles. "Sometimes," I admitted, leaning a little closer. "It's the only place I feel untethered. Like the city below can't touch me here." He nodded, understanding written across his expression. "I get that. I come here when I need to breathe, or when I'm hoping to meet someone who makes the night feel different." The words hung in the air, and I felt a rush of heat that had nothing to do with the wine. There was a confidence in his gaze, a magnetic pull that made my heart race and my thoughts scatter. I wanted to tease, to play along, but the tension between us was undeniable. "Different, huh?" I said, letting a small, playful smile curl my lips. "And do I qualify as that someone?" His grin widened, slow and deliberate. "I'd say you're exceeding my expectations." We laughed softly, the sound blending with the distant hum of the city, but behind the laughter, there was an unspoken current, something deeper, urgent, and thrilling. Our eyes met, and for a moment, everything else disappeared. The rooftop, the city, even the wine in my hand was irrelevant. All that mattered was the heat that had started building between us. He took a half step closer, and I felt the faint brush of his chest against mine. My pulse quickened, and I swallowed nervously. "Alex," I whispered, almost questioning, almost inviting. "I know," he said, his voice low and husky. "Me too." That simple admission was enough to break the fragile barrier that had kept us just friends on the rooftop. He leaned in slowly, giving me all the time to pull away, but I didn't. I wanted this, wanted him, wanted the fire that crackled in the space between us. When our lips met again, it was different from before, more urgent, more demanding, yet still filled with a tender awareness of each other. I could feel the strength of him, the warmth of his skin, and it sent a shiver down my spine. My hand slid up to his shoulders, then into his hair, pulling him closer as if I could somehow fuse our bodies into one. He responded in kind, pressing against me, exploring, teasing, his hands trailing along the curve of my back. Every brush of skin against skin was electric, a spark that made the rooftop seem like our private sanctuary, removed from the rest of the world. "God, Emma," he murmured against my lips, his voice rough with need. "I don't think I've ever wanted someone like this before." "Neither have I confessed, my own voice trembling with anticipation. "It's insane." We paused just for a heartbeat, foreheads touching, breaths mingling. And then, as if driven by the same desire, we leaned in again, this time more urgent, more daring. Our bodies pressed closer, every inch igniting with heat, and I felt his hands exploring places that made my breath hitch in pleasure. The night skies stretched above us, stars flickering as if in approval, and the city lights below shimmered, oblivious to the passion unfolding on that rooftop. Alex's lips traveled from mine to my neck, teasing, claiming, sending waves of heat that left me weak in his arms. "Oh, Alex," I gasped, wrapping my arms around his neck, pulling him even closer. The rooftop seemed smaller, intimate, as if the world had shrunk to just the two of us and the electricity that crackled between us. His hands slid lower, tracing the curve of my waist, and I felt the unmistakable tension in his body matching my own. Every brush, every caress was a promise, a silent acknowledgement of the desire we were both barely containing. We broke for a moment, breaths ragged, foreheads resting together, and the connection between us deepened. Not just physical, but emotional, magnetic, undeniable. "Emma, I don't want this night to end," he whispered. "Neither do I replied, my lips brushing his again, soft and lingering. "But maybe it's just the beginning." A slow, teasing smile spread across his lips. "Then let's make the most of it." And with that, we allowed ourselves to be lost in the moment, the city below, the stars above, and the rooftop that had become our own private world. Our kisses deepened, hands roaming, exploring with a hunger that had been building since the moment we met. Every touch, every sigh, every whispered name created a rhythm, a dance of passion that neither of us wanted to end. Time seemed to suspend itself as we surrendered to the night, letting the world fade away until there was only the two of us, hearts beating in tandem, bodies pressed together, and the undeniable fire of desire burning brightly. Finally, as the first hints of dawn began to creep across the skyline, we pulled back slightly, eyes locking, breaths mingling, and a quiet laugh escaping us both. The night had been everything, intense, passionate, and unforgettable. "I'll never forget this," I murmured. "Neither will I," he replied, his hand still holding mine tightly. "But somehow, I feel like it's just the start of something incredible." The city below began to stir, lights flickering on, the hum of life returning. But up here, on our rooftop, the magic lingered, a memory of passion, connection, and a kiss that would stay with us forever. The night deepened, and the rooftop felt like a world apart from the city below. Every glance, every touch between Alex and me had been building, a tension that neither of us could, or wanted to, ignore any longer. The air around us seemed charged, each breath shared, each heartbeat synchronized with the other. He pulled me closer, his lips finding mine again, slow and deliberate at first, then urgent and demanding. I could feel the heat radiating from him, matching the fire igniting in my own body. His hands traced the curves of my back, the sides of my waist, teasing, exploring, and every touch sent shivers down my spine. "Emma," his voice was rough, low, filled with a hunger that made my knees weak. "I need you." I gasped softly, my lips parting, leaning into him instinctively. I want you too." Our kisses deepened, tongues brushing, exploring, tasting, igniting a fire that left me dizzy. Every nerve in my body screamed in response to his touch. I pressed myself against him, feeling the strength of his chest, the firmness of his arms, and the undeniable tension building between us. He stepped back just enough to look into my eyes, his gaze intense, almost reverent. "Are you sure?" he asked, his thumb brushing my cheek. "I don't want to rush you." I shook my head, unable to speak for a moment, my heart hammering in my chest. "I'm sure. I've never been more sure of anything." His lips met mine again in a long, searing kiss, hands sliding lower, tracing the curves of my body through the thin fabric of my dress. I shivered at the contact, every nerve alight with desire. My hands roamed his back, pulling him closer, needing to feel him as much as he wanted to feel me. The city lights below flickered, distant and oblivious, while up here, the world had contracted to just the two of us. Every kiss, every touch, every whispered name deepened the connection, until it felt like we were the only people in existence. He whispered against my lips, "I've wanted this since the moment I saw you." "I know." I breathed, my body responding to every word, every touch. I felt it too from the start. The heat between us became almost unbearable, the teasing and lingering touches escalating into something more urgent. Alex pressed me against the railing gently but firmly, his body covering mine, and I felt a shiver of anticipation run through me. The world seemed to hold its breath as we surrendered to the desire that had been building all night. Our kisses grew deeper, hungrier, every touch charged with need and longing. I felt his hands explore, teasing, caressing, igniting flames that spread through my entire body. The tension became a pulse, a rhythm, a dance of passion that neither of us wanted to stop. "Emma, I can't hold back anymore," he murmured, his lips trailing down my neck, his hands gripping my waist possessively. "I need to feel you completely." I let out a soft moan, wrapping my arms around him, pulling him closer. "Then don't," I whispered, giving myself over to the night, to him, to the fire that had consumed us both. The moment stretched, endless and electric, as we moved together in a rhythm that was as much emotional as it was physical. Every brush of skin, every sigh, every whispered name deepened the connection until it felt like our bodies, hearts, and souls were entwined. The city below began to fade, becoming a distant hum as we lost ourselves in each other. The rooftop, the stars, the gentle breeze, they all became part of our intimate world, a private stage for a night that would be burned into memory forever. Finally, we collapsed against the railing, breathless, hearts pounding, tangled together in a mix of sweat, warmth, and satisfaction. The world felt right, perfect, and impossibly close, as if every moment of the night had led to this crescendo of passion and intimacy. Alex brushed a damp strand of hair from my face, his fingers lingering against my cheek. "You're incredible," he murmured, his voice soft now, tender. "I could stay like this forever." I smiled, resting my head against his chest, feeling the steady beat of his heart beneath me. "Tonight will stay with me forever," I whispered, my fingers tracing lazy patterns across his back. We stayed like that for a while, wrapped in each other's arms, savoring the quiet aftermath of desire. The city had awakened below us, lights flickering, distant sounds of traffic and life creeping back in. Yet up here, on the rooftop, the magic lingered, a memory of a night of passion, connection, and love that neither of us would ever forget. "I think this is the start of something amazing," Alex said, lips brushing my hair. "I know it is," I replied, smiling. "And I can't wait to see where it takes us." As the first hints of morning painted the sky in shades of pink and gold, we lingered together, sharing soft kisses and gentle touches, a quiet, tender intimacy that made the night feel complete. The fire of passion had been intense, but the warmth of connection, the knowledge that we had found something rare, made it unforgettable. The first rays of morning stretched across the skyline, painting the city in soft shades of pink and gold. Alex and I stayed wrapped in each other's arms, the rooftop now quiet, almost sacred, holding the memories of a night that had changed everything. I rested my head on his chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat, feeling a sense of peace and completeness I hadn't realized I'd been searching for. The intensity of the night had given way to a gentle warmth, a tender intimacy that left me smiling, utterly content. "You know," he said softly, brushing a strand of hair from my face, "I think I could get used to mornings like this." I laughed lightly, my fingers tracing patterns on his chest. "Me too, though I don't think any morning could ever compare to last night." He pressed a gentle kiss to my forehead, eyes full of something deep and unspoken. "Then let's make more nights like that together. Not just one, but 1,000 rooftop nights if we can." I looked up at him, heart swelling with affection and desire, and whispered, "I'd like that very much." We lingered there, savoring the quiet, intimate connection between us. The city below had awakened fully, but the rooftop remained our little world, a secret shared between two hearts drawn together by chance and chemistry. Every glance, every smile, every soft touch reinforced the bond that had formed in the span of a single night. Alex leaned in, capturing my lips in a gentle, lingering kiss, a kiss full of promise, love, and the unspoken knowledge that this was just the beginning. My hands cupped his face, holding him close as if I could imprint the moment in my memory forever. "Promise me something?" he murmured against my lips. Anything, I replied, breathless and smiling. Promise me we'll always remember tonight. The rooftop, the stars, the way we felt. No matter where life takes us, this moment will always be ours. I nodded, resting my forehead against his. I promise, always. We stayed there a while longer, wrapped in each other's arms, letting the warmth of our connection fill the morning air. The city buzzed below, but we were untouchable, suspended in a world that belonged only to us. Finally, as the sun climbed higher, we reluctantly pulled apart, still holding hands, our fingers intertwined like a silent vow. Same time tomorrow. Alex teased, a spark of mischief in his eyes. Definitely, I replied, laughing softly, heart full. But maybe with coffee first. He chuckled, pressing one last kiss to my temple. Deal. As we made our way back from the rooftop, the memory of that night lingered, passion, laughter, intimacy, and love woven together into something unforgettable. The connection we had discovered was more than physical. It was emotional, deep, and meant to last. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Tales of Love. If you felt the magic of this rooftop romance, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more passionate, heart-stopping stories of love, desire, and unforgettable nights. Every story is a chance to escape, feel, and fall in love all over again.